Okay. I'm gonna risk ruffling some feathers because I'm sincerely just exhausted. As we all are. I'm also really just unhappy with feeling like I need to bite my tongue in order to protect myself from people I'd hope would have the grace to not decide to be nasty or accusatory because we disagree. I'm just gonna go for it. Maybe some of this will have a butterfly effect. It's worth it. When the alternative is just having their wings flap in my stomach instead. Let's agree first of all on a few things. If you can't agree on these, then honestly, I don't know why you would engage with me. 1, I value human life. 2, I live in the epicenter of this pandemic and it's truly been frightening and I know it's real. 3, I love my parents and would do almost anything to keep them safe and alive. 4, I also value things that are more complicated, such as liberty, creativity, connectivity, uniquely human characteristics. 5, I've seen and my family has been deeply touched by totalitarian governments in ways not all, thank God, can relate to. 6, I'm not a sociopath. That all said and agreed, we don't have answers. No scientist or doctor has answers. No economist or politician or celebrity or lawyer or journalist has answers. No one has answers. At best, really, we can call them preferences and assumptions. We also have questions and opinions and concerns. We have fears and predictions and needs. We have dreams and wants and desires and hopes. All of us. So, stop treating me and others who are deeply worried that we are making a mistake by just keeping things at this status quo like imbeciles or self-centered narcissists. Stop assuming you are right and any other point of view is beneath you. That is beneath you. Stop confronting every argument regarding this lockdown as binary. Stop treating every person who is afraid of unnecessary death and suffering as being less moral than you are. Stop. Stop acting as if your absolute certainty isn't based on fear and uncertainty. Why? Because it is. You cannot make an argument worthy of yourself unless you own that. Demanding others defer to your authority, place your experts as more experty than other experts, is a fool's errand. Stop rewriting historical events to suit narratives and, even worse, framing them as proof that the people, not leadership, made grave errors in the past. Remember when you were the first to point out the insanity of past events? You do? Good. Reflect on why mistakes just as grave, if not graver, couldn't be possible now. Stop, for many of you, extolling atheism while treating science like religion. It's not. Truth is just as irrational when talking about faith in a God or a science. Yes, reality is fairly cut and dry in a pragmatic sense. But assuming the predictive and exploratory nature of science or even modeling is truth is as narrow a thinking as assuming prophecy and holy texts are. By the way, that can be just as deadly when treated both dogmatically and as a weapon. Engage with other people in good faith. Talk with them and share your point of view, your fears. Have the courage to let it be emotional, to let it be an emotional discussion if need be, rather than one that takes so much energy containing how you feel that you turn your emotions onto them and choose to belittle rather than face them. Assume that not everyone who has a different opinion from me and you, to those who study and research and theorize about such matters for a living, are ipso facto wrong. Stop treating people who long to make a living like the word living is irrelevant and superficial. Look at what you may have that allows you to feel confident and secure in your position and ask, even just quietly to yourself, what may differ for this other person? Stop making this partisan. Stop telling anyone who has an opinion on any leader that's dictating their life that their negative or positive view is wrong. Don't long for commiseration or comrades in arms, whether those arms are actual weapons or your emotional cruelty. We will emerge. It's going to happen. Right now, we can alter and impact how that will go in a very real way. We can and will be able to support, protect, and yes, sometimes save each other. Those who remember diseases of the past remember what we learned. Not everyone you think is a villain is, and not every savior either. Fights worth fighting for we may never have had the courage to or need to prioritize will be, and some we will even win. Try to believe that most people have the best intentions, even when that's hard, and even when that may prove to just be self-serving. I said early on that this was only the beginning. It still is. A poet once said that sometimes your need undoes your disbelief. So I suppose what I'm asking is, what do we really need? I think it's fair to say that more than any time in our lives, this question matters. Pandemics before brought with them both immense suffering, but also incredible innovation and creativity. Being the first of us in humanity that leave a historical record empty of either of these things, that is really, really beneath us. It's also possible. If we continue to war with each other because we believe that is somehow more enlightened, we've failed at appreciating what those who survived before us carried with them. You may not believe in spiritual legacy, or you may. Either way, who are we to kill what they managed to preserve? Indulgent, petty, superficial, angry, cruel, ready to devalue one another on a dime? I don't want that future. Right or wrong, with each moment someone decides to diminish a person's self-worth or value, or elevate one form of death over another, or demand stats over humanity, I truly wonder how much closer we've come to handing over our natures to the unnatural and living in a world devoid of all the things we ever held as the masterpieces of our species. Is this dramatic? Yes. But are you sure it's wrong? Are you so sure you're right that taking a breath before you decide to turn on someone to satisfy a dopamine hit is worth it? If so, go ahead. If not, let's see if we can stop being at the mercy not only of people who have never even thought of us, let alone met us, but also at the mercy of each other. What are we actually able to control and do? Should we do them? Maybe those are the real questions right now worth asking ourselves, and those we care for and respect. Thanks for reading. May 21st, 2020.